Congress now threatening the FBI with contempt. We really want to see that document, the FD 1023, that evidently has information about the Biden crime family that the FBI has been sitting on for a long time. We've read through previously different letters back and forth. James Comer on the Oversight Committee sent one to the FBI and he said, I want the document. Here's a subpoena. Give it to me. The FBI responded and said, we're not going to give it to you because we're the FBI and we do whatever the heck we want. And Comer then said, in this letter, which we're about to read, you better comply or else you're going to be held in contempt of Congress. Apparently that got the ball rolling a little bit. Sounds like they may be meeting soon. Christopher Wray and James Comer. Here's the conversation.
You and your committee are prepared now to hold Director Wray in contempt, but now we're hearing that you will be meeting with Director Wray. At issue is this 1023 form, specifically.
Right. I sent Director Wray the letter threatening contempt of Congress proceedings if he didn't hand over the document at 3 o'clock. Just a few hours prior to coming on your show, Sean, I received word that the FBI director is committed to meet with me next week in Washington, and we can discuss this. But nothing's going to change with respect to holding him in contempt of Congress if he doesn't turn over the document. Not only do I expect the document, Sean, I expect to know exactly what the FBI did to investigate the validity of the claim. Because as I've said on your show before, this claim is consistent with activity that we have seen in other countries around the world, and it all stemmed over the course of 2015 and 2016 during the end of the Obama administration when Joe Biden was vice president, and he took it upon himself to travel all over the world to some of our adversaries around the world and talk about foreign policy and foreign aid.
But a 1023 is a confidential informant. B, in second degree.
That would be fair, but it's not classified. So their argument that says they don't want to out their informant, I agree with that 100%. There's a process in Washington to prevent that, and that's called redacting the name of the informant. That solves that. If the informant's claim isn't legitimate, then again, why are they worried about the informant? Look, we learned something during the second conversation we had with people representing the FBI when they came in to talk to my staff. Our specific request, first of all, said we want any Form 1023 dated in August 2020 with the word Biden on it. And you know what they came back and said, Sean? They said, well, that would just be too many documents. We can't possibly prepare all that. So, a light bulb goes off. What do you mean? How many 1023s are there with the word Biden just for 1 month in 2020? Now, this is what we found with the Treasury with the suspicious activity reports. There were hundreds of these indicating potential wrongdoing of the Bidens with respect to financial transactions. Now, the way that I understood the FBI, there are multiple Form 1023s pertaining to Biden. So we had to narrow the focus to say, okay, Biden and the word $5 million. All
right.
So
let me ask you this.
Document.
All right. So they are wanting to get the document, and that's going to be very curious to know how many of them there are, because we thought that there was just one of them. But apparently there are more to come. And so this is the letter from James Comer over from the House of Representatives, the Oversight Committee. He sends it to the Honorable Christopher Wray. He says, Dear Director Wray, on May 5th, our committee sent a letter to you people at the FBI regarding illegally protected and highly credible unclassified whistleblower disclosures. As previously stated, Wray, the whistleblower disclosures indicated that the FBI and the DOJ are in possession of an FD 1023 form, a very important form describing an alleged criminal scheme involving the then Vice President Joe Biden and a foreign national relating to the exchange of money for policy decisions. A little quid pro Joe. That same day, the committee also issued a subpoena requiring the production of the documents. And so it wasn't just a letter, it was an actual subpoena from Congress. It said, can you please give us the documents with Biden and 1023 or else? The subpoena return date was May 10th. You didn't comply. On May 15th, committee counsel attended an in-person meeting at the FBI headquarters. And during that meeting, the FBI staff failed to produce the form or offer any reasonable accommodation that would allow the committee to even review the document. Instead, the FBI requested a second briefing thing. I expressed disappointment with the substance of that meeting in a May 19th letter that I sent to you, which we also read here. On May 16th, Comer says, Senator Grassley and I, through our staff, requested a phone call with you, Director Wray, to discuss the form. Despite repeated requests, the FBI has failed to schedule a phone call. Senator Grassley and I remain open to speaking with you about the form. FBI is snubbing them. This is on May 22nd, FBI and Staff Committee Council met for a second time. And at that meeting, FBI staff provided, again, general information about the program. Another PowerPoint slide deck. No answers. Similar to this first meeting, the FBI staff was not authorized to even acknowledge the existence of the form. So it's like, hey, Congress, why do you keep meeting with them? There was only one substantive comment regarding the subpoena. And despite the committee's subpoena being narrowly tailored to June 2020, the FBI staff that you sent over indicated that the search terms were broad because there were many responsive documents containing the term Biden in the database for that month. It's so many in 1 month, they can't get you enough. While that new information was alarming, you mean, wait a minute. So we're asking for 1 month out of 1 year and there's so many documents that you can't even pick it out. You're saying it's overbroad for 1 month? Committee counsel offered to limit the subpoena to be even more precise. Okay, well, what date would you like? FBI staff responded that a limitation was unnecessary because they knew which document was responsive, yet they simultaneously would not acknowledge the document's existence. This is your FBI. They're supposed to be working to help root out criminality and bad actions. And apparently there's a confidential human source who says the president and his family did a lot of bad things. These FBI people are jerking Congress around to protect the Biden administration. That's how disgusting this is. They say, okay, well, we need all the documents from June 2020. Well, we can't give you all the documents from June 2020. Well, why not? Well, there's too many of them. Your request is too broad. We don't know which one you want. Okay, well, how about this? We want the one from June 1st. Can you give us that one? Okay, well, we're also going to ask for June 2nd. And if you don't give us that one, we'll send another request for June 3rd. How's that? And so they start going through the list and the FBI agents are like, okay, stop it. I see what you're doing. You're not going to count to 30. Okay, just shut up. I know which document and which day you're talking about. Okay, just leave us alone. And they say, oh, so you do know which document we want. So the FBI's gamesmanship in holding a meeting about the confidentiality issues is just a stupid joke. They say it's unacceptable. Comer writes, all right, Wray, the committee is not seeking the identity of the source who provided the information. So just get that out of your head. And there are reasonable accommodations that would alleviate your concerns about exposing the information. You could redact this, Instead of working with the committee, the FBI is refusing to even acknowledge whether the form exists at all. Agency has not made any attempts to engage in reasonable accommodations. And so therefore, Congress says, hey, Director, the FBI's refusal to produce a single document is obstructionist. Nevertheless, to narrow the breadth of the subpoena, we are providing some additional terms for you based on unclassified and legally protected whistleblower disclosures that may be referenced. We want specifically any documents that have these phrases in it. June 30th, 2020, and the phrase 5 million. You think you smooth brains at the FBI can find that one for us? These terms relate to the date on the form and its reference to the amount of money that the foreign national allegedly paid to receive the desired policy outcome. Pay the 5 to Joe, he'll get it done for you. Given the large number of FD 1023 forms that use the word Biden, these terms should help the FBI identify it. So search for Biden, search for June 2020 on the 30th, and search for 5 million. You think you people can find it now? Despite the FBI's unreasonable delay, the committee will allow the FBI 6 more days to produce the form. To the extent there are numerous documents referencing Biden and $5 million, please let us know. If there are like another 1,000 of those, we'd like to see them all. Yeah. If June 30th is too complicated for you guys for these two terms, let us know. That'd be very interesting. Comer says, as explained in both previous letters, the committee's independent and objective review of this matter will inform legislative solutions. We're considering passing rules that fix these problems, that stop presidents from trading American secrets and being corrupt. Your response to this subpoena is due May 30th. Now, this is where the big guns come out. Dear Christopher Wray, if FD 1023 form is not produced by May 30th, 2023, the committee will initiate contempt of Congress proceedings. If you have any questions about that, give us a call. We have broad authority. We are Congress. Thank you for your prompt attention to this important investigation. Sincerely, your friend, James Comer. So that is interesting now. We have a date and we have a secondary cause of action. Christopher Wray, you're going to be held in contempt. And James Comer said that letter got a phone call. So they are meeting, and we'll see if they get the form. But it's not that complicated. Why don't we just get it? Jim Jordan is explaining this as well.
Congressman, it's good to see you. Prove. Let us have the document. Senator Grassley has a whistleblower that he deems credible who came to him and said this document exists. Let us have the document. And if you don't, Chairman Comer's indicated we'll do whatever we can to pressure them to give us that information. I'm so tired of the unelected folks thinking they run the government versus those people who are actually accountable to the American citizen, to we the people, to the voters. That's not how it's supposed to work in our constitutional system. So give us the darn information.
Well, not complicated. It's a pretty simple process and a pretty simple document. And so Christopher Wray is now going to be meeting with James Comer, and we'll see what the results of that are. We're very excited to see FD 1023, and we're very curious as to what policy that $5 million bought for whoever that person was and what Joe Biden delivered.